What's going on, people? Welcome to another video. And today I am going to be reacting to the round 3 EFL Carabao Cup draws. I forgot the S back there, but it's there. I'm tired, very, very tired. I go work in like 2 hours and I am spent. So I am gonna be falling asleep at work. And yeah, getting in trouble as always. But we move, and we got a big game coming up. So we're gonna power through this, definitely. There's 32 teams left in the Carabao Cup right now after the first 2 rounds, and the big boys are in there. Arsenal, of course, were in there from the previous round, but the big boys have joined them, and now we've got 16 ties, and there are 4 all Premier League ties, and in all 4 Premier League ties, there are 4 of the big 6 in there. So we're just gonna have a look at those and react to the 6 ties that involve the big 6, obviously. First one that I see is Manchester United against West Ham. Of course, we got West Ham. As you know, I'm a United fan. We got West Ham. The toughest draw we could possibly have gotten, probably. Well, not apart from the big 6. I'd say this is the toughest draw. Maybe Leicester City as well. But they finished 6th that season. They start the season with 2 wins out of 2. They're top of the league, of course, in the Premier League right now. 2 points clear of us. So yeah, it's a tough game, but it is at Old Trafford. So hopefully that will do us some good. And then the next one I see is Chelsea against Aston Villa. That's another all English Premier League tie. It's a tough game for Chelsea because Villa definitely lost their first game against Watford, but they came back strong against Newcastle, and they look like the real deal, of course, with those many signings. Danny Ings and Cole joining the team, Leon Bailey as well. So yeah, they look like a tough prospect for Chelsea. Of course, European champions, and 2 wins out of 2 to start the season as well. They got Liverpool coming up this weekend, and yeah, that's going to be a very, very interesting tie to see what happens. Of course, it's at Stamford Bridge, so you say Chelsea are the favorites. And then you look at Liverpool against Norris City. That's speaking of Liverpool. They go back to Carrow Road, where they came up with a 3-0 win to start the season. Of course, they've won their first 2 games as well with a 2-0 victory over Burnley. And yeah, that's going to be also a very interesting game as well for Liverpool. Definitely, you say they're favorites based on the fact that they're going up against Norwich City, who they just crushed. But of course, Jurgen Klopp likes to make changes to his team, so that's going to be an interesting watch to see what team he goes with. And the final one of the 4 all English Premier League games from the round 3 is Wolverhampton Wanderers against Tottenham. Of course, Tottenham seeing off Wolves 1-0 thanks to Dele Alli's penalty last Sunday, and now they got them in the cup. So that's going to be an interesting game. Tottenham definitely you would fancy to be the favorites in that game over Wolves, but it's going to be a tough game, of course, because Wolves did put them under a lot of pressure in that game at Molineux Stadium last weekend. So it's going to be interesting for sure. And then looking at the other 2 teams, the other 2 big 6 teams, we got Arsenal against Wimbledon. Yeah, Arsenal Wimbledon getting an easy draw at the Emirates. So we'll see what they can do. But on a more serious note, Arsenal against Wimbledon. So yeah, Arsenal, after that 6-0 victory at West Brom, coming off that, they get Wimbledon. Should be a winnable game at the Emirates. But of course, that could be them getting lulled into a false sense of security and then over-rotating their team. So it's going to be interesting to see what Arteta can do with that tie. But yeah, on the face of it, Emirates Stadium, Arsenal home game against Wimbledon, that does seem like a very, very ideal fixture for the Gunners. So let's see what they can do with that. And then speaking of the team that they do face this weekend at the Emirates, at the Etihad, Manchester City, the final of but definitely not the list of the big 6 teams, traditional big 6 teams. We got Manchester City against Wycombe Wanderers, and yeah, City keeping up their run of getting easy draws in these Carabao Cup and FA Cup fixtures. with this draw again at home to Wigan Wanderers. So yeah, definitely City. You'll fancy them. City definitely will feel like they got the easiest of all the draws. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, of course. We got, again, just a recap for the big six teams. Manchester City against Wigan Wanderers, Arsenal against Wimbledon, Norwich City against Liverpool, Chelsea against Aston Villa, and Manchester United against West Ham, as well as Spurs against Wolverhampton Wanderers at Molineux Stadium. And then just looking at the other fixtures, you got QPR against Everton. That's a tough game for Everton as well, away at QPR. Preston North End against Cheltenham Town, I believe, and that's going to be a tough game. An interesting game. Fulham against Leeds. Obviously, Fulham just getting relegated. Leeds looking strong. And then a game against Everton, the last game. And then we got Brentford against Oldham Athletic. That's going to be an interesting game for the Bees. Home game, so you do fancy them. Watford against Stoke, also new promoted Watford, taking on Stoke City. And we got Wigan against Sunderland, which is a classic Premier League game. But both teams have fallen off a long way since the Premier League days. That's going to be an interesting game. And then Burnley taking on Rochdale. That's also a tough game for Burnley, but we'll see what they can do. Sheffield United against Southampton, that's a difficult game to call. Both teams do look probably are evenly matched based on the fact that Southampton lost so many games in the second half of the last season, but they are coming off that morale-boosting draw at home to Manchester United, so you do fancy that they will be able to do something in that game against Sheffield United. And then Millwall against Leicester City. Leicester City obviously will have to be favourites for that game, but Millwall, with their fans, they will be a difficult prospect for Brendan Rodgers' side. And then you got Brighton against Swansea City. That is the 16th of the 16 games going on. So 32 teams left. City, of course, the defending champions, beating Spurs in the final last year. And let's see what they can do. Manchester United obviously losing to Manchester City in the semi-finals. They will be trying to redeem themselves. But it's going to be an interesting run, definitely. And I'm going to be out. Just a preview. Let's see how it goes. Not still happy with that game against David Moyes' West Ham. But we'll see what we can do. And the next round, of course, will be the round of 16, the round 4 after this round. So we'll see who can make it there. And might do a prediction. Probably not, really. We're just going to leave it at this. I talked about teams that I do expect to get through a little bit. So we're just going to leave it here. Thank you so much for watching again. Like, share, and subscribe. Your boy is going to be out. See if I can get a little bit of a nap before I go to work, because I am very, very tired. I'm not gonna lie, very, very tired. And I'm gonna be out. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.